All right, money's sent. Let me know when you get it. Pleasure doing business. Okay guys, this is wild. I just bought a pre-CBS Fender. So Fender guitars made between 1950 and 65 are said to be the best ever made, but with that usually comes an absurd price tag. This guitar from 1964 stole my heart from the moment I laid eyes on it. You ready for this? This is a pre-CBS Mustang, and for my money, these are absolutely Fender's best kept secret. Now, if you told a lot of my instructors growing up that I would have got to where I am now with my guitar playing, I'm not sure they would have believed you. See, as a guy with average at best natural talent, I had to lean heavily on a systematic approach for figuring this thing out. See, everything I do stems from what I teach in the Samurai Guitar Theory bundle, and this is your last chance to grab that. 89% off, only $14 when you use the link in the description. See, in these courses, I teach you how and why music works the way it does from the ground up, and how you can use that information to unlock the next level in your guitar playing. It's this information that allowed me to catch up to and eventually surpass many of my more naturally talented peers. I've never done a sale this cheap before. I'm not sure I ever will again, so grab it while you still can. Anyways, let me play this thing a little bit more for you. I'll be honest, I don't really feel like making this video right now because I just want to sit and play this thing. But do you really own a guitar if you haven't posted about it? So Fender had these magic years from 1950 to 1965 where they kind of just nailed it right out of the gates. But in 1965, the telecommunications company CBS bought Fender and started doing things to the instruments that collectors and players believed diminished the quality. And fun fact, that thick logo that's associated with the CBS era was done so that it would stand out more on TV. And I spent some time with my buddy's pre-CBS Strat, and I gotta say, I get it. It's amazing. It was the best Strat that I've ever played, but I just can't ever fathom spending over $30,000 on a guitar. So when I saw a pre-CBS Mustang pop up on Facebook Marketplace for about the same price as a current American Fender, I knew I had to look into that a bit more. A couple hours later, I was driving home with this in my trunk. Now, I haven't had much of a chance to play it yet, so don't mind if I do. Now, offset guitars are one of those things that I've just kind of glossed over. In fact, I had to look up what an offset guitar even technically is. And it means that this cutaway and this cutaway aren't perfectly lined up. But the history of the Mustang goes back to its older brother, the Music Master, a student model that was released in 1956. Then in 1958, Leo Fender designed the first offset guitar after watching jazz guitar players play. He saw how they held their instruments and thought that this offset design would better suit their needs, when in reality, it was surf rockers who became associated with this instrument. If you combine the Music Master with the Jazz Master, sprinkle in a couple new things, you get the Mustang. And for the most part, this upgraded student model kind of flew under the radar for years because more advanced players didn't want to be seen playing a student guitar. Because if you're a serious player, that would be kind of amateur, right? And don't get me wrong, there were a handful of indie rock musicians who used these through the years. But then in the 90s, this counterculture grunge movement goes mainstream, and part of the whole aesthetic is doing things that were previously deemed uncool. And then instead of playing a pointy shred guitar that had been all the rage in the past decade, a guy like Kurt Cobain gravitates towards the underappreciated Mustang. This guitar magazine from, oh my god, this is 22 years old. From January 2003, with John Frusciante on the cover, playing a Mustang was my first introduction to the instrument. And since I read this, I'm not sure that I've thought a lot about these guitars, even though there have been some predominant guitar players who've used them. Because the thing is, besides Kurt Cobain, it's kind of everyone's side piece. Like, you got the A-list popular Fenders, the Stratocaster and the Tele, and then you have second on the billing, which would be the Jaguars, the Jazz Masters, and the like, and then you have the Coronados, the Electric 12s, and the Mustangs kind of lurking back in the shadows. But you know what I've come to realize about these guitars? Those that know, they know. So let's talk about the features on this guitar, and I'll tell you why it's uniquely perfect for someone like me. Volume, tone, standard stuff there. But the pickup selection is controlled by these switches here, and it's pretty unorthodox. Each switch controls one pickup. Flick it, turns it on, flick it the other direction, and it switches the phase. And this is kind of cool because instead of having either or both pickups on, if we have both switches in the same direction, the pickups are in phase with each other, but if they're in opposite directions, they become out of phase. And when they're in phase, the waves of both pickups are mostly lining up, kind of reinforcing each other. But when you flip it so that one of these waves is opposite the other, they kind of start canceling out each other, which gives you an interesting sound. Let me play you a little something and I'll show you the difference. And I'll be completely honest with you, I actually don't prefer the switching system. I'd rather have just a normal toggle switch and a button or something like that, but I can live with this. Now, one of the weird features that I actually do quite like is the trem system here. And this bar here is attached to springs on the inside, and it moves back and forth ever so subtly. You can attach a whammy bar to it. This guitar didn't come with one, and they're actually kind of hard to track down, but I actually enjoy just kind of using my palm to do subtle stuff with it, like this. Now let me tell you what I actually like most about these guitars. It's small. It's actually 3/4 the size of a normal guitar. And I didn't even notice this when I first started playing it, but everything instantly felt good, right, and easier. See, I'm a smaller guy with weirdly small hands for a guitar player that have been a bit of a limitation. I should have been playing one of these for my entire life. But they are for everyone. I have a buddy who's bigger and he doesn't like these at all. He says they're too small and they feel weird to him. The other great thing about this is it's a vintage guitar from that golden era of Fender. The wood is great, the craftsmanship, it's worn in beautifully, it's got a story to tell. And pretty much all the other Fenders from this time are astronomically priced, but you can get this for a relatively affordable cost. And if you're looking for something new, Fender actually still makes the Mustang, and they sent me a couple to try out. This one's the American Performer, matte finish, normal toggle switch, which I quite like, thicker fret wire, but still 3/4 size. Then we got the Vintera 2 with the racing stripe, vintage pickup switching, and that cool old CBS logo. And then a Mustang bass, which is 3/4 size. I've always struggled playing basses because they're so big. This is now my go-to. So I'm going to take all these instruments, put them together in a song that I feel is fitting for a video on the Fender Mustang. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Fender's best kept secret, the Mustang. Remember, this is your last chance to pick up my theory bundle. You're going to get 3 courses and a bunch of bonus lessons for only $14 when you use the link in the description. Until next time, thank you all for watching. Look after yourselves, look after each other, look after the planet. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I'll see you again soon.